students, we are here for another session on the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. In our first session, introduction, where we have talked about multifarious facets of the age, especially romanticism and the romantic aspects of the poet Keats. At the same time, in relation to that, we have checked the clash between classicism and romanticism. And I have commented that every experience has its own reaction from the other. So ultimately, from that perspective, classicism is going to be a major influence of romanticism. It has given way, it has paved the way of romanticism. It's true. It happens in our family, in our society, in our culture. Today, we are the present generation, new generation. And after 15 years, again, another generation will come. So we have to pave the way for the next generation, and it creates a cycle of human beings. So therefore, there is no clash. They are not contradictory. They are complementary. So these are the things that already we have touched upon or covered in our introductory session. Now in this session, before we read the poem, because the poem talks about beauty, a sense of beauty, elemental power or the pristine power of beauty. So before we get into beauty, we have to grasp the notion of beauty. So therefore, in this session, I have decided to deal these three things. Beauty, concept of beauty, meaning through changes. Meaning changes through transformation, through ages. We have to check it. For an example, comrade. It has gone huge change, utter change. What's the change? Comrade actually means friend. Later on, comrade, the word means a person, a political activist connected to the political party that is called Marxism or Marxist. So it has gone a change. Through changes. So like the words, beauty has also undergone several changes. We have to look back. First of all, before we talk about different definitions or concepts of beauty, we have to think about what beauty is. Beauty is actually a noun. Noun. It is noun. What kind of noun it is? Definitely it is abstract. It is abstract noun. As it is abstract noun, it's very difficult to shape. It's very difficult to shape. So we have to conceptualize because it is concept. Therefore, this session is going to be a bit difficult, and you have to pay your utmost attention to understand the concept of beauty. Because there is no shape where we can have a measurement. You cannot gauge it. So we have to probe into unfathomable measurement of beauty. It has different spectrums, different features, different radiations. We have to catch it. But at the same time, there is no such instrument with which we can catch the essence, the definition of beauty. Rather, these definitions, these concepts defy any types of definitions. There is no particular definition. You have to fill it. What is beauty? Beauty is a matter of precision. That's the first experience. That's the first thing that we have to understand. It's a fundamental thing. It's a matter of precision. There is a sense of preciseness. It calls decorum. There is an organic wholeness, uniformity. It is organized. It's not haphazard. It's not scattered. Then it's not going to be a piece of beauty. So there is a sense of precision, organization, orientation. These are the words that can match up with the concept of beauty. So therefore, not only this, beauty, it has a strong connection with mathematics. Pythagoras, what may be the pronunciation? He has talked about golden ratio. Mathematicians, they can make you understand what is golden ratio, but I'm not going to deal golden ratio. Galton, the photographer, he also talks about the concept of beauty with a term called averageness. It's a very interesting story. And there is one Bangali, Anjan Chattopadhyay, he has worked extensively on this. So if we get time, then we will talk about Galton's theory and other aspects. But first and foremost definition of beauty is, it is a precision. Precision means how to match up. If I wear a white shirt, should I wear a white jeans, black jeans? It's a matter of precision. It appeals to your sense. You have to understand. Sometimes match of colors also do not define your beauty. It may be disorganized. The colors are not same. It's different color. It's a pied beauty, but still it looks fantastic. So it adds a concept. It adds to your sense. How can you sensitize? How can you sense the appearance of beauty? That is the first thing we have to understand before we go to kids. Like other sessions, I'm telling you, I'm repeating you the same one, that understanding the text is not our only intention. Beyond the text, something is hidden, something is intricate, something is kept secret. We have to find that secret thing out from the bag. And the moment you are able to get it, you will again get a thing of beauty in the poem. Otherwise, it appears to be a simple representation of beauty. But it's not like this. Another definition says that beauty is the ascription or attribution to any object, living or non-living, leading to a perpetual experience of pleasure and satisfaction. It's true. Let's take an example. The moment you are looking at a flower, wonderful flower, it creates a sense of pleasure and comfort, satisfaction. The moment you have gone into a garden and you are standing in front of so many flowers, bunch of flowers, ultimately it fills your mind with pleasure. So it creates a sense of pleasure and comfort, satisfaction. Therefore, beauty is very much perceptible. You have to perceive beauty. Beauty cannot come to you. This concept cannot chase you. You have to chase it. So you cannot chase a beauty. It's true. For an example, simple example, you try to understand this. You cannot chase a butterfly, which is a prime example of beauty. Perhaps you have the experience of butterfly. How colorful it is. It looks fine, fantastic. But you cannot chase a butterfly. If you become very much patient, movementless, immobile, definitely at that point of time, that insect comes and sits on you. So you cannot chase. You have to be very much patient for beauty, and beauty will come, and it will come into your custody. So therefore, beauty can be experienced in harmony of nature, synchrony, euphony, and symphony of worldly affairs. Again, I'm repeating. Beauty can be experienced in harmony of nature, synchrony of songs, symphony of songs, and euphony of the world, unity in all worldly affairs. Next, I will try to give you some facets of the meaning of beauty that has undergone several changes through ages, through time. In Greek, there is a word kalos. It is later translated as a fine quality, kalos. It's a Greek word. It is actually a Greek word. It talks about fine beauty, fine quality. If you translate the meaning of the word kalos, you are getting a meaning fine quality. Definitely, when we talk about fine quality, evidently, it talks about one of the qualities of beauty, that it has to be fine. Therefore, the word comes finesse, where there is an artistic touch, completion, sense of completeness, wholeness. Wholeness talks about the circle. And the moment you talk about the circle, it talks about completeness. So fine quality. So the word kalos, the Greek word talks about the fine quality, one of the features, salient features of beauty. Not only that, there is another Greek word that is horaios. Another Greek word. It has come from a word that is hora. So from the word hora comes horais. Hora actually means time. Hora means time. So what's there? What's the significance behind this concept? It tells that beauty is a concept of time. It's a matter of an hour. And beauty has to unfold. And for that, you have to pay some time. You have to wait for some time. Today, beauty cannot be unfolded. So for blooming beauty, you have to wait. Kavi says in one of his hymns that today you have planted a sapling. Every day you are saturating that sapling with buckets of water. And you are expecting that tomorrow it will offer you flower and fruits. Is it possible? No. So even though you are pouring buckets of water, but ultimately you have to wait for that time when it will bloom. It will come up with flowers, and flowers will transfer themselves into fruits. So if you try to hasten the process, it's impossible for them. Sapling has its own beauty. It's very tender. It's very lively. It's green. It's very young. But after all, if you want to have the full beauty from that sapling, when it will be fulfilled, when it will satisfy you with flowers and fruits, you have to wait for that time. And when it satisfies you with fruits and flowers, it talks about the complete beauty of the sapling. Everything has its own beauty, but only to get the ultimate beauty, you have to wait for some time. So it's a concept of time. So beauty unfolds. Beauty gets its maturity through time. It ripens with time. Ripens. Another word that's very much connected to Shakespeare's Hamlet. It's a different reference. Next, I will talk about one critic. His name is Aquinas. Aquinas. Aquinas, he has talked about three features. Integritas, consonantia, and claritas. So for beauty, he has talked about three features. Integratia, consonantia, and claritas. What do these three words mean? Integritas talks about wholeness. I have talked about what is wholeness. It should be complete in itself. Consonantia talks about harmony. What is harmony? Even though there are diversity, but there is unity. When you are playing so many tunes, from the word harmony comes the word harmonium, where you are playing so many notes. Notes means I'm trying to talk about tunes, but these tunes, they get connected to a point where it creates music. So if you take those sounds separately, it creates a cacophonous sound inside. But after all, if you can have a proper mixture of those sounds, it gets into a center, and that center, it can be called a song. So therefore harmony. And claritas, it talks about radiance. Radiance, you can understand the brilliance, excellence, illumination. If you take a diamond in your hand, it illuminates. That's the beauty, radiance. It should reflect. Beauty is not stale. It is not stale. It reflects something. It inspires you. It makes you awestruck. It makes you spellbound. That's the quality of beauty. So therefore, Aquinas, before he defines the concept of beauty, he has given three words, where he has described the essential qualities, the primordial qualities of beauty: integritas, consonantia, and claritas. And ultimately, what he says as definition of beauty, he says that is beautiful, the apprehension of which pleases. After all, it should be a pleasure. The moment you look at a beautiful thing, it should not sadden you. You should not be melancholic at that point of time. It will not demoralize you. It will energize you, impress you, instigate you, so that you can lead to a positive direction. You can have positive vibes inside. That's beauty. But in classicism, beauty was not regarded as respectable or respectful term. Therefore, classical beauty always talks about negative, ominous. It is related to human body, especially female body. It bears an exotic or erotic experience because it's related to female body. Even though Plato has conceptualized it as one of the forms beyond any earthly forms. Plato has given a respectable term, even though among classicists, it was not regarded as a respectable term. So what Plato said is that it is one of the forms beyond any earthly forms. So you can understand, beauty is not earthly. It is a spiritual, no otherworldly affair. So it's beauty. And at the age of reason, again, beauty was considered as one of the distractions. What kind of distractions? It leads you to astray. It distracts you. It diverts your mind from your duty and responsibility. It diverts you from your responsibility and duty. And ultimately, you are a totally demotivated person doing nothing about this. However, there is one critic of the age of reason who talked about the beauty in the positive form. What he says? Beauty is a unity in variety and variety in unity. It is a figure of speech that is called chiasmus. Chiasmus means same words, the placement is changed. Think about unity in variety, variety in unity. Words are the same, but the placement is changed. And next comes romantic age, where our poet belongs to or lives in. In romanticism, the concept of beauty is redefined, or rather refined. According to them, the beauty is not a matter of eyes. Eyes are dangerous, even though William Congreve said that beauty lies in the beholder's eye. But every concept cannot be matched together. He has said from a different perspective. So before we understand this concept, this quotation that beauty lies in the beholder's eye, we have to get back the context in which he has uttered such valuable words. But according to these romantics, beauty is not a matter of eyes. Rather, it's a matter of your emotions, your imaginations, your passions. You have to feel it inside. So what it means is that the beauty is a matter of your inner faculty, not outer faculty. Again, I'm repeating, beauty according to the romantics, it's a matter of inner faculty. So you have to fertile your inner aspects, emotions, passions, imagination, sympathy, kindness. These things make a beauty, or rather beautiful things. Beauty, when I'm talking about beauty, I'm talking about quote unquote beauty. So eyes are really fraughtful. There is always a tendency to make mistakes. There is always an illusion. If there is a myopic vision, then it's going to be a genuine problem. So all the time you cannot believe in your eyes. That is what the romantics have mentioned. And it has been clarified by Keats himself. What he said, that what imagination seizes as beauty, as truth, is beauty. Again, I'm repeating, what imagination seizes as truth is beauty. Now you have to look back the word that sees. What does it mean? Why has he much focused on imagination? Why did he consider that the imagination is the true instrument to seize truth, and truth will bring beauty? Seize. Normally it's related to the investigation committee. We know that police, they have seized the house, they have seized the car, and they're seizing with authority, with proper documentation, proper proof. So therefore it's very authentic. And categorically, the poet has used the word that what imagination seizes. It's not capturing. Capturing can be faulty. It can be a mistake. It can be a gaudy feeling, G-A-U-D-Y, gaudy feeling. But after all, that's not the choice that Keats has chosen. What word he has selected for this? Seize. So if we talk about that imagination has seized the truth, it talks about that imagination has seized it with proof, with document, with proof, with evidence. Otherwise, question may come, how can I understand whether it's subjective, whether it's objective, whether it's wrong, whether it's true? Question, this is a kind of burning question, relevant question. I can imagine so many things. How can I consider that this is true? Today itself, at this point of time, I can imagine of Katrina Kaif. Should I tell that, okay, this is truth? How can I tell it? So this is not a Caesar in that perspective. It's a capture. It's a clip, simple clip. But Keats did not use the word imagination to be very petty, to be very silly, to be very humdrum. Therefore, he has used the word seized. Now, another thing you have to note that Keats has used beauty and truth side by side, juxtaposed. So therefore, he has seen these two words with equal value, with equal weightage, and therefore they're complementary. In another quotation, in another place, Keats has mentioned that I don't believe anything but in the holiness of heart's affection. You can understand all these quotations, they talk about the authentic version of the emotional aspects. I do not believe in anything but the holiness of heart's affection. It's holy. The word holiness is actually connected to religion, because religion needs that holiness, integrity, right intention, devotion. So likewise, we can tell what Keats is saying over here. It's just like a profession. That profession is dedicated to poetry. So his profession of writing poetry is not for the sake of writing poetry. Rather, he thinks it's his own religion. The religion of the poet that Tagore has mentioned. Therefore, he has that holiness, integrity, purity, sanctity inside, so that he can devote his best. He can sacrifice everything that he has inside, those supreme things, qualities for poetry. So it talks about a commitment towards poetry. So for Keats, poetry is not simply a branch of literature, rather it is a profession, and that profession is directing him towards religion. So that is beauty. Beauty actually instigates him, triggers him to devote himself to that religion as much as possible. Next, he talks about truth of imagination. Again, you might have a question, if it is subjective or objective. Definitely he talks about subjective, because imagination differs. And therefore romantics are varied. They have multifarious facets. They are not restricted to a particular thing. In classicism, you may read 1 to 100. Ultimately, decorum, universality, these themes are very much predominant, with slight change of language and expression. But if you talk about romantics, Wordsworth is different, Coleridge is different, Shelley is different, Byron is different, Keats, he's also different. They are different not because of their principles, because of their individuality. As an individual, they are all different. They have different senses, different perceptions, different realizations. And therefore, the pieces, the production, the creation they had offered to this world, they are also different. Multifaceted tasks. So therefore, Keats has enthroned imagination at the center of creation, while imagination was actually rejected in classicism. So therefore, again, you have to understand what was rejected in classicism is accepted in romanticism. Do you get any clash? No, there is no quarrel, there is no conflict, there is no commotion, there is no brawling inside. What they have rejected, simply they have collected it and they made it anew. That's the art. You have thrown something. You have thrown the papers. An artist has collected those papers and he has made a patchwork. It becomes a piece of art. So there is no quarrel between these two persons that why did you throw it and why did you collect? You have thrown it and I have collected it because you have thrown it as an wastage. That is what Keats has mentioned over here. So therefore he says what imagination seizes is always perpetual, always eternal beyond earthly possibilities. So again he mentioned that he is not at all concerned whether it existed before or it does not exist. He's not at all concerned with the theory of existence, but what he feels, that's right. What he feels is truth. What imagination captures, that's true. And that is a piece of beauty. So he has placed truth and beauty, these two different words side by side, to have an integrated feeling of the concept of beauty. Not only that, Keats, as a poet, he was very much concerned about the source of beauty. Where does it come from? But it has been trotted a lot. He talks about passion, emotion, imagination, these emotional aspects related to hearts. These are the fountains, resources of imagination. And imagination leads to beauty. So again, it's two directional. Imagination or passion leads to truth, truth leads to beauty, or imagination or passion leads to beauty and beauty leads to truth. They have the same name. In any connection, they can flow. So it's a flow chart rather. So therefore, truth and beauty, they should coexist. And therefore, they must be integrated. And therefore, he always craves for a life of sensation rather than thought, passion rather than ideas, imagination rather than rules, and finally emotion rather than any universal decorum. And rightly Keats has mentioned that he believed in the principle of beauty in all universal aspects. It is a revelation of things. It is revelation. Those who can behold it, for them it is always open. It's ready. The word behold also talks about one kind of revelation. So therefore, at last we can say that truth is the manifestation of beauty, and beauty is the radiance or illumination of truth. And finally, dispersing all the confusion among the readers, ode on a Grecian urn, he finally commented that beauty is truth, truth is truth, beauty, that is all. Ode on a Grecian urn, he has mentioned this line. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty, that is all. So we have to learn it. We have to capture it. We have to perceive it. Imagination assumes beauty and beauty leads to truth. At last we talk about the modern aspect of beauty, because I'm trying to show you the transformation of the definition of beauty, the concept of beauty, how it has gone, how it has traveled from one age to another age. Postmodern definition of beauty is entirely different. Rather, it is an inversion. It has thwarted all the concepts and definition that's very loose, that appear to be very loose. So therefore, they have talked about everything. They have defined beauty in relation to real aspects of the world, the challenges that we face right now. So Nietzsche, the German critic who has mentioned will to power is will to beauty. Somebody has said, Scary, the name of that critic, Elaine Scary, he talked about that beauty is justice. So today's beauty is not very much restricted to fair. Any black beauty can also be a beauty. There is a wonderful book you can read, Black Beauty. So anybody who is black can also be a piece of beauty. So all the discriminations, disparity in the term beauty, these are all evaporated right now. These are all thrown away, torn apart, and it gives you a better understanding of beauty. That is what the connection is with reality. At last, I will end this class with a small story of APJ Kalam when he talks about, when he defines what is handsome. Handsome does not mean that what beauty you have. If you're very much proud, if you're very much boastful about your beauty, you have to ask a question: did you create that you are so much proud about it? You did not create anything. You are not the creator of that beauty for which you are taking pride in. Somebody has created that beauty, so you are lucky. You should pay that much reverence to that person, to that supreme spirit who has made you like this. And instead of that, what's the tendency? You become very much proud about it. So it's not handsome. So beauty is an attribution by somebody else. You are just a carrier. You have to carry it. And at last he says, the real definition of handsome is if you extend your hand to some for help. So somebody becomes a handsome. I'm including both the genders. So there is no discrimination of gender. Handsome, normally it is used for male members. And beautiful, the word is used for female members. But here handsome is actually a concept. So when APJ Kalam talks about handsome, he says, whenever you extend your hand for some, especially for practical purpose, to help, to contribute, to do something for betterment, development, progress, at that point of time, even though by the concept of beauty, physical feature, you are not beautiful, still you appear to be a handsome person because you have shared your hand to some. That's the concept of beauty. Thank you very much. I understand that it's a bit complicated, but this is a poem that can have an exposure of beauty and beauty in relation to truth. How beauty and truth are correlated. So with this connection, we have to read the poem for better understanding. Thank you so much.